Okay. The people who carry the grave or the dead body, and the people who trade who exchange with them, and the people who exchange for those exchanges. Okay. Beinosim shehem l'fnei whether those that are in front of the bed, beinosim shehem lacharer, whether those are in front of behind it. Miyasu shalamita tzarach since the dead the dead body is going to need them, or we call it a pier or something. They'll be baturim. Ushar hamalabin as the people who are accompanying the dead body. Shein lamita tzarach b'hem that the dead doesn't need them. Then chayav they will be chayav. The exchanges for the people who are exchanging. Even though there is time for the later ones, the Kroba Ochanos and Rishon to greed while the first ones are carrying it. So why are they pater? People also beturm still the pater and they because sometimes they change their mind. Knows them the safe and they give them for them to carry. And for them to start. This is from the old Talmud. Behem. Since the bed needs them, Kigon Be'ir sheyesh chabura hamizuman as the guy. For example, in a city where there's a group which is set up prepared for this. This is from the Lech Komunis and the Magen Avram. Okay. V'kol b'nei chabura mechalifin l'seis l'fi, and all the people of the group are changed in order to carry. They change who's carrying. L'fi shekulim kapetim is close because they all want to get a zechus in this mitzvah. Kulam patur mekriyishma, they're all patur mekriyishma. L'fi shem patur tirudim tir this mitzvah because the trouble of a mitzvah. If people who are rechokim me'amit, even the people who are distant from the dead body, they would still be patur. If a makom sheina chabur mizuman is the kach in a place where the group is not prepared for this, is muchim lamitim patur, then only the ones which are close to the dead body are patur. This is in the Pri Megadim. L'fi shederach l'zakosam b'mitzvos, because it's normal to be zochalem in the mitzvah when they're close. Alos nosim. No, there's a close in the mitzvah to get in the zechus of the mitzvah because she's stabit on nosim when it's too heavy for the carriers. They give it to the ones closest. Avol rechokim me'amit chayavim, but the people who are far from the dead body they will be chayav because it's not normal for them to get it. If they're not, unless there's a group and they're part of that group. Chayavim, they will be chayav in Kriya Shema, which other people are just accompanying the Kriya Shema. Even though accompanying a dead body is included in doing kindness. Doing kindness is from the Torah. This is from the Shulchan Aruch Agraz. They're not troubled at all. They're able to read the first pasuk with intent and withstanding. And the rest of them they could do it while they're walking. But they're patur from as says in Siman Kavav. I can't take up the dead body while it's close to Kriya Shema. There's not enough time to get out of the crow and to cover that you're not going to have enough time in order to take it out and bury it before the time of Kriya Shema. Aim of seeking today's cross. And if they did start to take it out, then you don't stop to read Kriya Shema. The im kavar hagiz man Kriya Shema is already reached. There is for them to wait enough time that they can know able to do is to evaluate that assumably they already davened the majority of the congregation. The gam shenosim hamita kavar koros is following also people who are carrying the dead body are going to be already have read Kriya Shema and davened. This is from Muchach Mitamid Ben Yonah. Estimates the dead body. Even a kosher person, it's from the Beis Yosef and the Taz. Still, you shouldn't do it before. Yeah. You shouldn't do it before you have enough time for them to stop. The Indian like the Bismanini wasn't kosher. In this topic, there's no such thing as a kosher person, not that kosher. Lahakal days have to be made through this. She gives man until even that the time is coming for Kriyashma, or the time will come for Kriyashma. We see Mr. Shlomo Mashman the Kana then that the Kriyashma shall average and the stomachs of his losh and smash the same thing to be by Marv. Well, Dina scheme our phone Lahakal Bashal Average, and for the law they agree, the phone agreed to be made by Marv. This is from the Magen of Rome, the Eli Rab and the Sharach. The Fisha Imlo Yikperanu Yom Yavril Al Solon, because if you don't bury him today, then you're going to be violate Al Solon. So you have to make sure to bury him. The even though you were able to bury him at night after you read Kriyashma and Davin, it's no Shulchan Aruch Graz and Sefer Magen Iburim. Al Kapanim Yavril Al Mitzvah Zase Ki Kavor Tikberanu B'Yom Hu. Still, he's going to violate the mitzvah. Say he's covered to Karenu. You should surely bury him in the day. In lo Karenu kodem shishki hasakam, if he didn't bury. No, not in the day. But you're going to violate the mitzvah of covered to Karenu b'yom hu. You should surely bury him that day. In lo Karenu kodem shishki hasakam, if you don't bury him before shishki hasakam, then you're going to violate that. If it happened that the coming out of the group is until after of the berura. Okay, the coming out of the burial came until night. Yamtinu l'lohotzi aji ispalu akal mar. Then what you should do is you should wait until taking it out until the congregation is on mar. But before that, even though it's going to take a lot of time, you can't really wait because you got to make shkit before shkit. Or you're going to violate in that say. Hiskilu l'hotzi. If you started to take it out, afilu achosh higiyaz man b'ishma. Even after it's reach the time of Kriyashma, you still have to finish doing the mitzvah of taking this body out. It's been the pre-father from the shower upon him. Okay. In Nafsikim, we don't stop at that time. Pirish Ha'am Trikon Ladesa Mitza means the congregation which needs to carry the dead body. Afilu Im Yavar Ali Days is my Kriyashma. If you're going to mess from this time of Kriyashma, this is from the Badam. The Kuras Mesim Torah that burying dead bodies is from the Torah. Aval Elush in Hamid the Torah and those with the dead body doesn't need them, Chayav on the crow's sake if they have to read right away. Apple Pishi is dying shows even though there is still enough time. This is from the oldest Talmud. Okay, this is the Berlacha. And we'll see in Shane shows. We don't take them out when there's no time, it's in days. Russell, let me say the high stomach, the Kamrinan Hacha, this next to here, what you're saying here. Ein perish kamo samach mincha. This is not the same explanation as next to mincha. The Bismillah Shlam David and Shlam David Shuhu Katsasha, which was half an hour. Ala perish kadei shows rather the samach means enough time. Lohosil Lukovu to go take him out and bury him. Kodem Shiagiz Man Kiskal is Kriyashma before the time of starting Kriyashma. Shum Mishiyakir is Chaver, which would be when you can recognize your friend. V'rochak Arbamas, this is the 4 Amos. This is when the Talbin or Ben Yam the Beis Yosef. The Shmata Mechad Echad. They would each one would go. Oh, we didn't do it, right? Okay, Gimel. Ha'ambos can be heftin. Yes, so the congregation which is dealing with a eulogy. Bizman Sham Beis Mutal Lefneim, this is in the Shulchan Aruch. Nishmatim Echad Echad B'Kar Mispalim. Then each one person goes out and reads and davens singularly, not the whole group. Take turns. Ena Mishna Mutal Lefneim, the dead body's on in front of them. Him with Koyim and Mispalim, Va'oner Yoshev V'Domim, they can read and daven, and the person who's mourning sits and is quiet. The Shmatim. The Mishnah says, "She after she yikru kani till it's impossible for him to read it next to the body. Mishim log the rosh because of insulting the poor man, the poor dead body. Hamispalim, and they daven. This one the Ramban, B'Torah Adam, B'Torah Yordea, V'Lechem Chamudos, V'Dvisha Seile Rabba, V'Gam B'Ram, Tzadid, V'Kelim Lachal, Tzad V'Marakel. V'Habi Poskim Kolkim Tefillah, the Akilu, the Ein Tefillah, the Meismut L'Fnem, they are Mekel in regards to Tefillah, in regards to when there's a dead body in front of them. Given Shat Tefillah, the Rabbanan, since prayer is only the Rabbanan. And you could. V'Nir the Indian Chazan, in regards, seems in regards to a Chazan, the Asaftan, which is eulogizing them. Bavadi used to smoke lahaka yivshurik merline be mekel b'zeh shlo yitzarach lahafsik b'tfilah. They shouldn't have to stop for tefillah. The afilah in Kriya Shema yesh omer m'shu do pater b'zeh. And even in regards to Kriya Shema, they're not saying that he's pater in this case. I'm b'torim beis yosef. Look at the page b'torim beis yosef. Okay, so the Satan doesn't have to, but the others do. But the others could have to. The others do have to leave. They have to stop and leave, and then, but the Satan doesn't have to. But Domim, and he's quiet. Um, the mourner. Vein ona afayim kulam, he doesn't answer after on anything, doesn't say amen or anything. V'tamshin is bar b'shem $9, and as for the reason she explained $9. Cover us, let's see the berura. And the shmati mechanach. And I'm mishna, broken the mishna berura. The chor mashma, the filu mal yidei zeh yaver b'toch tach man kriyashma. Even if through this they're going to miss in the middle of this kriyashma. Gam in the tosh, she also isn't to be concerned. The hari kvar skilu last of mitzvah determine a mitzvah, because they've already started to do a mitzvah and they're from another mitzvah, or a different mitzvah. Afsha mitzvah shniya chambur mimani harbivim, the second mitzvah is even more strict than in the law. The Ukidim Bukha with Sifkat and Dalad in the Magan Ram is clear in the Sifkat and Dalad in the Magan Ram. I'm Prima Godim Sham, look at the Prima Godim there, but I'm the Priya Kodesh, it's our family, the Priya Kodesh need in. Cover us and mates because you have Avelim at work, the Kabbalah coming. They bury their body and the Avelim are coming back to accept the consolations. V'cholam holchem acharim, and all the congregation is going after them. Mimakam akever l'makam sha'omdim sham, from the grave till the place where they're standing. Havelim la'asus shura the Kabbalah coming, to make the road to accept the consolations. Im yicholam am lahaskil v'ligmar, if the congregation is able to start and finish, afilu pasuk after even the first pasuk, kodem she'agia l'shura, before they reach the row where they're going to give the consolation, yes, still they should start it. Vim lav lo yaskilu v'nexlana, they shouldn't start. Haga, v'mi shosh beyond the cross after, assuming there is enough time to read afterwards. This is from the Beis Yosef and Shem the Rambam. Okay, meaning if there's not enough time, it sounds like you should start. Yes, v'yikru kol ma sheyuchel, and read whatever you could before you get to the people. This is from the Rov Achronim. Yeshos, if there's enough time. Avalim yavar isman Kriya Shema. Kriya Shema is going to pass. Yikru Kriya Shema. Tefillah is first read Kriya Shema. Given Shadayin lo skill with mitzvah fulfillment, since you haven't started already the mitzvah fulfillment, you say fulfillment, and then you go to the mornings afterwards. Ha'omdim v'shur and the nachmo. Actually, see the veralacha. And b'cholam hokam achareihem. Okay, cover us and mason. Im yocholam, if you're able to do it before they get there. Afagav the Besifes, even though the Besifes Isa says the Ain't Team Elam Kane she shows the cover clothing, there's no time to bury it first, and then you'll have time afterwards. I Shachashkum and Tila Shachashkum and Tila she shows, they thought originally there would be enough time, but Afagav shows, and it comes out that there isn't enough time. Haki so Yushami, this is what it says in the Yushami. Okay. V'cholam holkamachorim, all the congregation goes after them. Each the dakni shar pasuk rishon l'kuli alma also the coast of mahalas. There is three medakni because the first pasuk you're not able to read it while you're walking. From avoid level of Simon Samach was Gimel, as it says earlier in Simon Samach was Gimel. And in Kain Hechim Mishkachas law, how can you find that Jehei shows the crows actually you give the shur? There'll be enough time before you reach the row. You're obviously gonna stop, and that's gonna take a few more seconds. Even if it's a little far, you can welcome Harry also the crow the leak. You're going to be still have to go while you're walking. Wish them remember the my vish ain't show us the crow Africa. It makes sense if you're talking about in case we can't read afterwards. But commotion is in this stomach is going to write next to here. Nisa, and it makes sense. Avolafi Mashi Kosa Bagal, according to what it says in Hagal, Kasha, Afghan, it's kosher that you're going to have to stop. Afghan Makasa Zuba say for my Mordecai after I found this question on my Mordecai, because of them writing this, Shem Yishlom the road Shalom, maybe it means to say that maybe there is the answer, that it means to say, Imhu Barika got a little bit far, Shatem Shagir Aval Sham before the oval will reach there. Yecholim Amud Bepot, you should be able to stop at the first spot, so will Yos in Avel, Lashur Biachan, and to be with the oval in one row together. If we go into Mishayr and should be Halichas Avelim Shagim, Term Shagir Ham Lashur. And for example, that we're evaluating that by the going of the Avelim, that they'll reach there before they will reach the row. I'd come to the end of his language. Meaning they'll reach the Avelim before they get to the row. So you have to wait a little bit anyway. And me shows if there's enough time. I'm a Mishnah Berura, Mishnah Berura, Masha Kasam, which we wrote, Kibun. Can't cause them Logan Ram, this is Logan and Ram says. I'm a Prima Garden, the Prima Garden, Shikasa, the Mashroom is that the also the mitzvah of people, the mitzvah of the Rabbanon. Mashroom is even if someone is dealing with mitzvah of the Rabbanon, should if so, I feel the mitzvah of the rice, should even stop even for mitzvah of the rice. If it's Orachin, me, when I know there, it's Orachin, how we know this. I'm on the Shona. Beyond the course after half, and the day to read afterwards. Enough time to read afterwards. I'm about to go to Marlach, look at the Ghost Marlach, Mashikosav al Hagazu, what he writes about this Hagaz. The Gambit see from my Mordechai and Pasuk al Hagazu, also my Mordechai has a question about this Hagaz. Because of the Medivri Rambam, it says from the words of the Rambam, Ain right, it's not a proof. The Gambit Medivri Rabbi Ben Yonah Lomash Palsin, also from the words of Ben Yonah, it's not much in this way. Shikashav Lo Yaskil, which says you shouldn't start. Time of the mills is the reason for the matter. The Tanchumi Avelim is the rice, the Tanchumi Avelim is really the rice. The Makalakum is Pasadan, it's including the milk Pasadan. The Fika Kamar, the Kivan Shah Osik Mitzvah Patim and Mitzvah. Therefore, they say that even since one is dealing with the Mitzvah Patim and Mitzvah, Alphabishi Gavar Nick Bar Mace Loyas, even though the dead body is buried, you shouldn't start. I'd come to Shlomo. Okay. But then Osik Mitzvah, who I feel a bit the lack of shows, and the din of Osik Mitzvah really would work even if there's no time, so why is this here different? And also Ayan Siddal, as you said earlier, and Simon Ayan Siddal. Then also in regards to the din of someone is dealing with the needs of the public. The time of Zasham, and he concludes over there, it's the din that are on the mice, this din needs in the mice. The Rambam Behilchot Aldelos positive the need from Avelim who mixes us is the Sofrim. The Rambam Behilchot Aldelos passed from that consoling of mourners is a mitzvah with the Rabbanan. The Visa did has in a Magal, and therefore with the appointment the din is with the Magal. I'm Prima Garden to Sutton down, but the Prima Garden to Sutton down. Okay. So if it's Rabbanan, I guess maybe they didn't have this mitzvah in the place where you're going to miss creation. Shnaim Shah Yushain and Betalis Echel. The two people are sleeping in one talis. The Bazush name, the Gim is represented, and their skin is touching one another. They're low equal Kriyashma, they shouldn't drink Kriyashma. Elam Kain hides the talis, Mafsagas, unless there was a talis separating between them. We must Neham and Lamata from their, I guess, from the waist down. No game, nothing, no game touches their, it says they're touching, which in the odds also the cross below have stuck as talus, then it's also to read without break of a talus. I believe we used to have to name them, if you want to turn the head one from the other. This is from the Gemara. Vim him yishochvim upon him if they're lying face to face, this is from the Prima Garden. Also, the cross below Avsakas Talis, it's also to read without a break of a talis. Even if they're not touching, as long as they're sleeping next to each other, it would still be a problem. Assuming they're face to face. Lo Yikoishim read Shem Yavu, they hear may become to thought because they're touching each other with the bush and Sharaf on him. Vinayim between them. The Philippine Zel Dizam Mutter. If there is some sort of break, then even if they're facing each other, will be Mutter. This one the base Yosef. The Shuvlo Yavu, they hear it further, is not going to come to thought. Lamativ below him. Abu Masnei will Malav from his waist and up. I feel a bizarre Nogaz that even if their skin is touching each other. Lo Astu, they hear is not going to come to thought. And all this you need that it goes out his head he takes it out of his head from under the sheet. This one the previous Gadam. Shalo you ain't of Ross Yalkal Ross to say, but they shouldn't have his eyes able to see his private parts. But Zaraf Kam came the Chotz as Libel also to press by his heart. Shalo Yehi Libel Ross Erva shouldn't have his heart if it had eyes be able to see his Erva. When people come with Semin Reish Semin Idol, it says later on Reish Semin Idol. Ein Sham Besif Katan, Beis look there and Lishakan Beis. Masha to Sam no old Beis what we wrote further about this. Cause of Prima Kadis, if we call this right, nearly Dim Bidiev car below has Kalasar upon him that if he read Bidiev without turning his face away, or below of Sagas Talis, and without the break of a Talis, the Yatsi de Chavasi fills obligation. Ein Sham. My Prima Gadam, the Pantu we say is a topic about this, Vachem Besefer Yeshua Yaakov, the Sefer Jas of Ein Sham. Okay. Let me just finish. Don't get to bear off. Let's see how much we can get. Imhari Yashin Yeshua is sleeping with his wife. Kori B'Chazar is upon him. He could read while he's facing the other way. Upon him the side after his face to the other way. Rafilu below of Sagas even if there's no break between them. Mishum the Chashiva Kagufa because he's considered like he was himself. The Yesh Misha also and those that are ashering Menachal Lachosh that's very then it's proper to be concerned about their words. Mishum the Yisha Kagufa Ragul Bak because his wife is like him and he's accustomed to having her there. This is from the case of Mishnah, but let here and there's no thought. When we come up on Chazar Panim, still you have to turn the face away. The Panim, the Hadi Panim, Yesh, the face to face, impossible not to have thoughts. This is from the case of Mishnah. Mashikas of Od Sham, what says further, I'm Berla, Berura Berk. He also look at the explanation of Berk Yosef. The Yish Master Panim Levad, if the man just turns his face away, Vayish Nisharis, the Kamoshi, and the woman stays as she is. Even though her face is to his back, she's staring at him. You come welcome him to the cross, still he's able to read in case he's facing the other way. This is the ground Berk Yosef and the Maimon and the Muslim Giburim. The Shul like to hear because there's no thoughts. With Vlad Shul Yehi B'Sar no Gev Erva, as long as his flesh isn't touching her Erva. This is from Pasha. I'm assuming this is from the past. The Shul like to hear Avalim Tervai Ritzonim the cross, but if they both want to read, Ozgam he then she also has to turn her face away. Now, if people will start no games and Bazam the cross, even if they're touching each other, it would still be what to read. This is from the Gemara. From the Gemara. So there's some answers. Wrote to the Lomer below Hafsag the Talis without having a break of the Talis. Well, the feet of himself from the oil is that you have to be very careful about this. Kriyash Mashal Amita when Kriyash Mar is saying it on the bed. When Baruch Hamafil and the Baruch Hamafil, Shu Beinim Hafsag the Talis should be between the Talis. But all the feel upon him had upon him, let the then speaking face to face, we must be canal as we said earlier. This one the Shlomo. In Hayashin, if he was sleeping in bond with his kids, but all them Gatanim while they're still small, Mutta the cause for Chazar Spanim below of Sakatal, it's Mutta to read while turning the face away without a break of the talis. Him Gedolim Torah will have Sakatal, and if they're old, then you have to have a break of the talis. In bond with his kids, Zulidhu, Kuli Alma, I'm reading Kivin the Gam Him Kashubin Kikuko, that for them, according to everyone, we say, since they are also considered like him, the likelihood then there's no thoughts. When we come up upon them, the still face to face, it's also, but pre-Kaddish make was that behavior, right? And the pre-Kaddish is make in this case, even face to face, and he brings the proof. And we say from my Mordechai the Birk Yosef Dachor Yosef, and the say from my Mordechai and the Birk Yosef they push off the proof. Mashra Rod Medivir my Mordechai it's Mashra further from the words of my Mordechai that people in the email to aim Tzarach Chachak upon him, even if they say not to turn his face away. Akapan bin Ogea of Asr Visar still at the very least when their erva is touching him. All the Habach Asr or the other way it will be Asr. The Chazar is Panim with the turning of the face away. Hainu Shihei Achareim Uzalazah, that is means their back should be to each other. V'im Pnei Bon of Neged Achareim in Acharav, if the face of his son is to his back. Zarach Akapanim Lizar Shlo Yehei Misar Nogem Mervas, he has to be careful that at least his his skin is not touching his erva. Their erva. Kenyorly, that seems to be. Rami Lakam Simon Ayin Dalit Tefei, look at the proof from later on in Ayin Dalit Tefei. The Mukhal Sim Visar Nogem Mervas Chaver Gam Kenos is proven that even if his skin is touching the erva of his friend, it would also be also. Okay, Gedolim. If they're older kids, then he would have to. He would have to get a tell us. Within Katanim, similarly other Katanim, Shainim, but we did not bother which are not his kids. Came out from the Rambam, this is passed from the Rambam. I'm Berura, Simonai and Hey, look at the God, Simonai and Hey, says Daham Belga. Usually, Ashim can answer it. Akhlafi Mashin and Boil the Common Kunwis would explain later on, Simonai and Hey, Sim Dal God, the cotton calls the man Shade Roy Lavia. The cotton, as long as he's not fitting to have relations, Hainu Bizafar, Ventisha Shanam means with a male until a 9-year-old. Ati Shanam until 9 years old. Yomach one day, when the Keva Bas Shalosh a young Vialmach, and the female for 3 years and 1 day. And of also Merva, the Erva doesn't count as an Erva. The Flora Gams in your native Yesh Hakal in Zion Lo Yil is my. So in that case also you can also make if that time hasn't come. I'm telling him Koshuvin Kitanim until how long are they considered little kids? Hatinuk Achihulo Shteim Esvishanim, the little kid male until he reaches their 12 years old. Okay. But if you notice in the little girl, Ajula at Panas Rishonim until he has 11 years. Even if they have 2 hairs at that point, it would still be mutter. The Mishnah asked for the Tinokum for the 13th year for the kid. Mishtayim asked for the Tinokus and the 12th year for the girl. In the view if they have 2 hairs, then also below itself it'll be also without having a break between them of a talus. The in the view mutter if they in low view mutter if they didn't have the 2 hairs, it would be mutter. Mishana Shlomo says for from 13 and onwards, the Tinok which they have with the Tinokus and for 12 for a girl, I feel low view also even if they don't give 2 hairs, it would still be also. Mishnah Shlomo says the Mishnah says, but to Lomar Mishahistul Yom Rishon B'Shana Zuf, and starts the first day of this year. They're just about 13. They're going to the 13th year. This from the Bach on the Sharachonim. But then Mishnah Shlomo says he'll continue what it says from the 13 and onwards. Wrote to Lomer Gamkein take of Mishahushlam Mishana Shlisha. So it means they'll also immediately want 13 hits. They've already bar mitzvah onwards. This from the Bach on the Sharachonim. You don't even need 13 in 1 day. Rak Shleim, let's just have the full 13 years. Yom Haleda Gam King Lefal, you count the day of birth. This is from the Pri Megadim. He grown afilu in Nolad Be'achad B'Tishri, even if he's born in the first of Tishri, B'Sof Yom at the end of the day. Yishabol Astilas Shnas Arba Asre, when it starts at the beginning of the 14th year from that day, Shenolad Bo, which he was born in. Hainu Achad B'Tishri means the first of Tishri, Nishlam Lo Shalosh, we can't, that count is completed the 13th years. 13 years. Shonim, V'Nasu Golim becomes the Golim, even though before he still has from the morning to the night when he's missing in the year, but we still count him immediately. Levena then leading by mitzvah, similarly going to a mitzvah. The Shambin and Gamkin Shesars, there we also need 2 hairs. And the elbow simon and then hey, says test the Mishnah Berura Sham. And then look there and say simon and hand to test in the Mishnah Berura. In the view of Shesars, if he has 2 hairs, I'm not going to run wrong Shekasa. The female Shekasa, the Torah, and as according to the Torah says, and as the Kapaleth, also Mishinki as man, it's also once the time comes as them. I feel low Havia Shesars, even if he hasn't got 2 hairs. We got people below Kriya Shema even without Kriya Shema. Assume Lisha Miyaka, the roommates also to sleep together naked. The Kirabasa with touching each other. Mishagia as man as I want this time comes. But I'm the focus Makoka go base small Sham, look at focus Makoki can be small there. Okay. So I'm showing the game with the zone touching each other. I'm mission we're looking mission versus Gun Alef, Mash the sound of the panim la the panim afilu in no game also that face to face even if not touching will be also. Who may prima gun is gonna prima gun. But my brother I messed up with the other my Monica has a question about us. So nearly the feed the way prima gun, according to the words of prima gun after the Yasha of Koshia, Shnia Shalom Magan Avram. It's possible to answer the second question of the Magan Avram. The Sifkan and Beza and Shom Sifkan and Beza. Okay, even if they're the panim, even with the Shidduch officer, that could answer the question somehow. You must name the matter from their waist down. The Savati and Behin and Shein both design self Gufam. I have a suffix if it has to be break until the end of their body. Well, I feel like talis cuts, even if it's a very short talis, the mata, they're aglaim later on and down by their feet, no games that they are touching each other, the shari will be okay. Umea Gada, and from, sorry, Umea Gra, should see on the Makormi Simon, Simon Ayin Dalit, and the Gra, which says the source is from Simon Ayin Dalit above. V'hasam halal bein and rakis the erev l'chod medina, and there isn't it the rule that you only need the covering of the erev alone, or according to the real law? Can the book of Rambam Perek Gimel halachos Zayin? It's clear from the Rambam Perek Gimel halachos Zayin. The after the halachos come here, it's possible here is even more chamer mishum to hear her because of the thought. We're not the lamal we must have a spear laid below shayach here. Who are just above the loin? It's not shayach thought. V'teiz the ha afilu I will say him no games even if just their backsides are touching are touching each other. The aim behem mishum erba that doesn't have there isn't an erba there. Could use the Gemara says in Gemara. We will have the also still it's also. The akol fasam mishum here how you did the for sure the reason is because of pure if you thought through the touching. After that, people matam is actually here. Possibly even below this is here. Sorry for the idea. What does it say for bonus yom? Doesn't say for bonus yom. Medvar Merm calls that sim one is the full sim because the core kriyashma om is pao umedaber the vitar b'fit. It's only when he's reading kriyashma or davening or speaking Torah with his mouth. Aval harvard the vitar, but to think about Torah, I feel halu kaibel on the mutter I feel a bit kasher megula. Everyone's megula, but don't we pass on that his mutter even if his erba is revealed. To think about it is be muster. But Kamosha Kasim yourself Simon Ayin Hay. As I say in Simon Ayin Hay. Kol Shekin was ever sure about this. Ayin Shem Shgal Zavod, I guess to think Torah will be fine even if there is revealed. Okay, Ayin Shem Shgal Zavod, looking at it writes further. Mitam Zem, what the Lahar with the Bamish of Kedusha, according to this reason, what to think about things of Kedusha, Bishash Tashmish to the time of relations. Shahira Rainu can thinking is not like having like saying words in regards to this. Applebee's will be the deeper in the higher of my clothes, and it's not even would be considered thought in regards to thinking in a dirty. It would be a dirty place, but in regards to Arabs it wouldn't. I'd come to Shona because this is the end of his language Rikitzer. That's interesting. Not before don't look me prima gun. I'm going to copy here from the Agdama from the prima gun, the Simon Ayin Dal Ayin Hey. He who in the Tzarech Malka is very needed. So, Da. Can then is there ever that this is for the next step, but we're gonna go read it now. Da. Can is there ever that this ever which is clear in the seminine hay and seminine hay Nekluku Misha Kolakam can divide into five Kolakam. Can I show you five errors that Hashem is far? I'm explaining the Bible Hashem. He should be last. Also, the first one is Ain Oro as Erba. Also, if his eyes can see the Erba. The base is Libro as Erba. So if his heart can see the Erba. To go into holy with holy believing now Simon he's going in a shirt without without pants or without a belt. Oh, we go into high much of our arm or example sleeping naked task to meet under a covering. The whole thing, Rosh and Chotin and Kavai take his head out, believe in the top of the and his heart is with his erva underneath the covering. Goli erva, if he has a revealed erva, we're going to hold up the base arm, for example, is walking around his house naked. After Hoti Rosh and Chotz, even take his head out of the house, even though and his heart is covered with a clothes. So, but he's just completely naked. His heart can't see and his eyes can't see, but otherwise. And isn't here because of his eyes and heart seeing zerva. Even with this, there's still a because of having revealed erva. Dalid, the fourth one is his eyes see the erva of his friend. The angel is being never you saw there's no difference to Jews or guys. But feeling contemplation of the time of Mashalas, even if a cousin who's 9 or a little girl who's 3. But Bashita Misha Bainesh Siege Bain and Pasha by Nisha, that would be whether she's married or not married. I'm a Kayad Mukayad. Libra over Erva Savera. His heart sees the erva of his friend. Okay, I mean not his eyes, now his heart. Behold, with his eyes seeing is the erva, the os alef in the first letter. Odo Stalin berura erva Savera in the fourth letter, or the fourth number 4, where he was seeing the erva of his friend. Other Minotaur, that would be also Minotaur. The Civ lawyer at the bar erva sub, you shouldn't see but you distortion of matter, which means erva. The cross Kriyashma will also with the Minotaur with the Kedusha, and it's when you're reading Kriyashma and dealing with words of Kedusha, or words of Torah, words of Kedusha. In Canada, correct Kriyashma, so I'm going to read Kriyashma, berura erva over the lav Minotaur, and reads and he sees the erva, you violate the lav in the Torah. Was in Kol with Kedusha, same thing with the erva with Kedusha. I will hear most of the erva, but here thinking will be most with an erva. Elish from there, go ona also the erva to have a kediva, but saying, listening and considering it like you spoke, using Shemai Kohen will be usher with an erva because that counts as diva. Find Shem Primogon, which is decided. Don't look at the Primogon, which decides further. The opposite ain't local now lav, even though it can't be whipped on this lav. The ain't mice which doesn't have an action. Mikomakum 5 makas midas in the rain, still 5 makas with their abonin. The positive of Reserve, the Adis with their abonin. The positive of Reserve, the Adis with their abonin. You positive for Adis with their abonin for this. The suffix in brought erva to the Torah if you're seeing an erva, then you would have to go back and read. The sake of the rice, because the rule is sake of the rice is a chumrah. But then you have to be from Misafik, therefore you go back and read Misafik. Well, the Indian himself, and God, if you have to go back and read it with his brachos, you should know the Tayyib was in Nomer the Allah for Rabba the Tamura. And you could say that this is based on the Allah like Rabba and Tamura. The Komos Nomer Rahman al Sabid Yahabul Mahani. That he passes anything which Hashem says you shouldn't do. If you do it doesn't work. Have a suffix time in Kriyashma that would be a suffix on the deraisa of Kriyashma, and L'chein Torah and Berachos, that we would have to read it again also with its brachos. Masha Ein Kenim Nomer the Midrabana close the Torah, which is not true that if it's just Midrabana you go back and reread, and really you were Yotzei, even though Hashem didn't want you to do this. And read in front of an erva. Yesh Lom is fake their bottom of the kula, you can say you stuff their bottom of the kula. But Perish, Yesh main raw erva levels for and the have is the separation between seeing your friend, your erva, and your erva of your friend. The raw erva when you see his their own erva, Yesh theirs for Simon High and there is opinion Simon High the Otim Ain of behind the closing his eyes doesn't help. Will Yitzhak Hazar is Tanim Kitsa and it wouldn't work to turn away his face. Yitzhak Lahafzer Kol Gam Gufa is also turn away his body. This from the Taz and Sham. Milu Be'avis Chavero, however, in regards to the Arab and his friends, the Kuliyav Mahani Hafazar Spanim or Gufo, for sure it helps to turn away his face or his body. Gam Hefresh Bain Eina Roa Erba, O Bila Erba. There's also a difference between if his eyes see his Erba or if he's revealed Erba. After Tabaim the Raisa, even though they're both the Raisa, we can welcome each Philip and Nemsil is differently. Nem the Be'ena Roa, Lo Mahani keeps Yamaya. Then if his eyes see it doesn't help to have cover with water. Clear. We promote Erba Bashash is an example in Erba which is in a glass. I'm upon Shulchan look earlier in the short look inside in Shulchan. Bila Bila Erba Mahani keeps in mind in the garden, however, a revealed Erba helps to be covered with water. I'm the Nim Shulchan look in here inside the Shulchan. The Din liberalized Erba Shalom, all Shabbat Shalom Oshachaveru Isru Rachman Rabbanan, then of his heart seeing his own Erba, the yes of his friend is only the Rabbanan. The heart is only the Rabbanan. The Kozek Gimel, the Kozek Ishu Lavash Ketornis that is only when he's wearing a sort of cloak. The Erba Mekusa is Erba is covered. Abu Bagila Erba, but if it's revealed Erba, he has nothing on. Abu Bishaliba Mekusa and robes, even though his heart is covered and his eyes are covered. Yvon Sha'otzman, for example, clothes them, the Hoti Roshel with the phone, it takes it out of the window. I feel Hafi also the clothes plastic. The Torah still be asked to read and redeem the Torah. The Lord Kabak, we are there, not like back in your there, 7 or 8. Range to suffer the Gilead Erba lack of use of plow, that holds that the revealed Erba doesn't know Easter at all. Rak Mishum shall leave a row of Erba, and he says the only problem is that his heart sees the Erba. I had trouble there. Zayin is not true. Hakilo Erba, who is from the Torah, that revealing Erba is even in his in the Torah, and worship us in Rajva, and Rajva says in Brachas Kadal. Miluk Sivlo Yerba Erba, so in fact it says that you shouldn't see you in Erba. The Erba Savar, Lo Tira, and it shouldn't be seen by you in Erba. Don't say you shouldn't see it. It means you shouldn't see it. It means it shouldn't be seen, be visible. Although you're on the frame, they shouldn't show it to other people. Only by you, my frame, made it in the next. You only talk about if there's another person opposite him seeing it. Also, that would be awesome in the Torah. Rakafilu ain't offer if they the next though. Even if there's no other person but opposite him, it would still be awesome. Moshe got the Rashi says, "B'chumish the below yira b'chol that the below yira b'chol kol al Hakadosh Baruch Hu was talking about Hashem. V'im karav there also megula tzorach has the liquors if you read in the and his private parts were revealed, he would have to go back and reread. The Isra Baro Erba who rock me the Rabbanan, the Isra of his heart seeing is only the Rabbanan. We saw this before. We'll say believable puts the mind if you have his heart outside of the water, or Erba Shashis of his Erba was in glass. Believe Erba assuming his heart sees them. Most of the close Kriyashma would you want it to be Kriyashma, and you would have to somehow get your eyes out of there, which is the Raisa, but if your heart was the only problem, then glass would work. Okay, but lots of good different terms deal with Torah. Mashen can be in a row, doing in the Torah, which is not true when his eyes are seeing, which is in the Torah. Also, the high also with glass or water. The Hafashesh being legal row as Erva Shalo O Shachaver. There's a difference between him seeing part seeing his Erva, other people's Erva. You have also for his own Erva, Mahani Avsaka for the Rosav, it would help to make a break with his arms. When we told you him to have for sure with a belt, the Shachaver for his friend, Mahani Avsaka wouldn't help to make a break. This whole self legal row Erva, so very still hard sees the Erba of his friend. And so if that one keeps the vegan or leave it has to be specifically covering it with a cloth on his heart. But keeps the biyad or leave one putting his hand on his heart when the hand doesn't help, opposite the Erba's kaver even from the Erba of his friend. The Inguf has to go because the body can't cover himself. The im holus the components of the body, if you're just going with an undershirt or cloak or something, in Cain, ha'isr whom itam libel robot Erba, and if so the isr is just because his heart sees the Erba. If going to in a hole of is, for example, not wearing any belts. Look, I got the issue to find a bit people zerosa. In this kind of case, that's when it helps to attach your arms to your pressing them into yourself. Or after even with his hand behind, he can go and shave fasik with the tonus alef. For example, he will press with the cloak on his heart. Then with the tonus dark mode, if it's a very thin cloak, nearest to Erva Misham, and you can see through it. Because in a mime, it then would be like mime, come aboard with sim, and that it's clear in the sim. Will the Indian Lomahani, will the Aina Lomahani come over ever Bishash? In regard to his eyes of wood, that will not work, just like we said by glass. I can token dividend for Magan, because severe, this is the essence the words of Pri Megadim with a short explanation.